Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to billing management system, and today is our lecture number 4, and in today's lecture I am going to demonstrate the leftover of the previous lecture. That is, we are inserting the data inside our shop table and the vendor ledger table. So we'll continue that work, and also we'll do the new work, that is the customer insertion and the customer ledger insertion, and how to deal with the opening balances of the customers and how to deal with the opening balances of the shops. So let's start and have a look what we have today after looking at the previous work that we have done, and we also do debugging so that we can trace the errors. So let's start. Alright, so the login step, and we were at this point, and here if you see the data is not loading either, and you can add, but when you are adding the shops, only the shop details was going inside the table, but the ledger was not updating. So today I am first going to demonstrate and debug how can you check that error. So let us go to the shops window and let us make a breakpoint at this particular step. Okay, and after that go to your SQL and create a new query and write here truncate, so that you can reset your table. Truncate table, and the name of the table is shops. Okay, execute. Look, it is saying that this table is referenced with a foreign key, so you cannot truncate it. So what the other procedure to truncate the table, to reset the identity column as well? So delete from shops, and then dbcc check ident dbcc, and then so you have to write check ident and write here the table name in single quotes, that is shops, and then write here reseed, so that the identity column will be reseed to 0, and then execute this. So what will happen? The table will be cleaned up, refreshed, and the data is vanished, wiped out, and then the identity column is also resetted. Now let us go here and add a new shop. So first thing that you have to do is to enter the shop name, let's say ABC Garments, and then the vendor name, you have to maintain that tab index, okay, so that you can go appropriately downwards. So the vendor is coming from the database, the address is, let's say, this, and the manager, who is the manager of this shop, and the opening balance, let's say 1000 rupees. So when you are giving in positive, what will happen? The amount will go inside the debit part, and when you go in negative, the amount will go inside the credit part. Okay, so that's what the code I have done at the back end. I have demonstrated in the previous lecture also. So let us click the save button. So we are in, and now press F11 and check what is happening. At this particular point, the first value is inserting successfully. There is no problem. So I'm just pressing F11. So look, the data is inserted successfully. Okay, now what's the next step? Get last ID. So look what will happen here. Let's see what is returned. If you check here, look, 1. Okay, so the shop ID 1 is returned, so that I can be able to insert the shop ID. Okay, now shop ID is here, then the opening balance description, and then we have created 3 variables, balance, debit, and credit. By default these 3 are 0, and then I have checked whether the value in the opening balance text box is greater than 0 or not. Yes, it is greater than 0. Then come inside and convert it into single or float, and then store inside the debit part, and then when debit is there, credit is 0. When credit is there, debit is 0. That's the rule, simple. Okay, and then the formula for calculating the balance. So balance is equals to balance plus debit minus credit. So what's the final result here? Look, 1000 rupees. Okay, and then the debit part is added, the credit part is added, the balance part is added, and then the date is added, date time. Okay, and then what's the problem here? The reset function is come up. Okay, at this point, after adding all the things, one problem is I haven't add the insert function for that particular what can I say, for that particular table. So that's my problem. So I have to add that table, insert code here at this point. No, I have added here already. That is the code, but it is not working. This code is not going to I have to check this code also. So let us go to the database and check whether the data is here or not. Look, no data is here. Okay, so still we have to debug what's the problem. So let us go and check what's the problem. So let us now debug from this point, the second part or the second table insert operation. Okay, I have again truncated the table at the backend. Now let us log in and then go to the shops and then add shop name, let's say ABC garments, then vendor, then address, then manager, then opening balance 1000. Okay, and then click save. So look, the message is coming here, and then you are not also going at this point. So we have to check what's the problem. Okay guys, I got it. The problem is you are in the update code, so that is why this was not executed. So copy this code or cut this code. First stop the software and cut this code and paste it inside the insert code. Now it's fine. Okay, so let us check what's the result. First truncate the data. Okay, and now let us check finally. That was a big mistake. So you have to be very careful in placing the code, especially in copy and paste. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 and then shops and then add one more time and then manager and then opening balance 1000. Save. Look, it is said that the conflict occurred in the database now. So now that's an error that I have to resolve. Let us see what is the problem. Come here and see, do we have the result? No. And do we have the result here? Execute. Okay, the result is there. Let me open it again. Shops, edit. So look, the data is there after truncate. So let me uncomment it once again and recall it, and now let's apply the breakpoint at this point. Insert code, insert vendor ledger. Okay, and then come here and do it again. ABC vendor is this, NK manager, and then opening balance is 1000, and then click save. So you come in, and now that's my function, the procedure and the hash table. Okay, so let us see what's inside the hash table first. There are 6 items basically. So what are those 6 items? Look, the data is appearing here. Okay, credit is 0, the date is there, the shop ID is there, the description is there, the balance is there, the debit is there. So all the data is there. Okay, so you are now going to add inside the parameters. Look, it will execute for 6 times because the data inside hash table. Okay, so what's the result? The problem is this at this point. Exception, the conflict occurred in the database with the customers. So let us open this exception first. Open it. The insert statement conflicted with the foreign key, and if we copy this and if we check this, let me do the further work and then I will return back. Alright guys, so let me stop this and let me resolve this error. The error is because of the relationship that we have created. Let me show you. Stop your software and go to this. I have created a new query here and I have tried to insert here, and the same message is appearing here that is coming inside the C# code. Okay, so the problem is with the relationship because the relationship error is there. So how can you resolve that error? Let me show you. So go to your vendor ledger and go to his table designer and click relationships and remove this relationship, or instead edit this relationship. So let us go to the table and column specification, and notice here I am not dealing with the customers right now because I don't have any customers. I yet have to go at customers, but I don't have any customers. So mistakenly I have created a wrong relationship here. So what I have to do, I have to pick up the shop. Okay, so so that I can be able to make a relationship based on the shop ID, and in the vendor ledger you have the shop ID. I hope it is clear to everyone. So that was my mistake. So you have to be very careful with respect to the relationship generation. So please have a look at this in great detail. So okay, and now it is saying that the data type shop ID and does not match. Okay, what's the problem here? The data type at this point, the shop ID is big integer. Okay, let me cancel it. So that's another problem. And here the shop ID is big integer, and in the shops table the shop ID is integer. Okay, so that's also a mistake, because if you see the previous lectures, I have copied and pasted the customer ledger stored procedure, and I have directly executed that without checking that properly. So that was my mistake. So you have to modify and you have to change it in integer data type so that the data types will be matched. Click OK and then click save. Now it's fine. So press yes, that was the warning. And now go to the relationships and then modify that particular column specification. So instead of customer, shops, and the shop ID, that is the primary key, and here the shop ID is the foreign key, and then now it's OK, and then click close and then save, and it will warn you that are you sure you wanted to save this? Yes. So now the relationship of the shop is with the vendor, and now the ledger will generate successfully, inshallah. So let us come here and let us reseed the execution. There is no record now inside the shops table. So let us start the software once again. Hopefully it will work. So remove the debug point and let's start. So that was a mistake. So Ali, and password is this 12345, and then shops, and then click add, and then now ABC garments. Okay, and then vendor, and then branch, and then manager, and then opening balance 1000, and then save. Look, the data is there and it is also loaded also here also. Okay, and we'll see why this is not appropriately coming, why this column is blank. We'll debug that also, but let us first go and check whether that what is the data here. So execute SQL. Look, the data is there, and if we open this table, right click and execute, so you can notice we have the debit part, we have the credit 0, and we have the date. So everything is appearing here perfectly. Okay, and now we have to come here and see why this load is showing me the problem. Okay, so let us close this and go to the load function. So here's my load. So look, I don't have the opening balance column added to the load data. So what you can do, load da dot items dot add, and you have to add here opening balance GV. Okay, now it will be mapped. Let us see again. I am going to add one more shop with the negative balance also, so I can show you the debit credit part also. So login, and then shops, and then add, and then now DEF garments, and then vendor is Ahmad, branch is NN means not Nazmabad, let's say, and the opening balance is minus 1000. That means he is in credit. This shop is in credit. It has to pay 1000, okay, to someone. And now click save. So look, DEF garments added successfully, and now the data is appearing perfectly. And if you go here and execute this, so look, what's the result? You are in negative 1000. Here you are in credit. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so this is the accounting part that we are going to deal inside this software. Alright guys, so after that let me add another record with the 0 opening balance. So XYZ garments, and vendor is Hamad and the branch address is not Karachi, and then this, and then 0 is the opening balance, and then click save. Okay, it said that you have a problem at this point. That means when the value is 0, you haven't passed the debit part inside the procedure, so that's the mistake. Let us solve that. Stop this code and come here at the save point. When the debit is 0, what should happen? There is nothing, there is no condition, because look, when the amount is greater than 0, do this. When the amount is less than 0, do this. But there is no equal to 0. There is no equals to 0. So you have to make mention that also. So else, the last condition, if the amount is neither greater than 0 nor it is less than 0, then it is equals to 0. Simple. There is no fourth condition. So what you can do, you can copy this and you can come here and you can put 0 at debit, 0 at credit, and 0 at balance. Okay, so you are opening a new account with 0, 0, 0. Simple. Okay, so let's save it and now let's run. Okay, I have to change the record because the data will, I have to make the transactions here so that no invalid data will be entered. So let us go to the shops, execute, and I have to remove this XYZ. Okay, now it's fine, and now login, and then 1 2 3 4 5 shops, add XYZ shop, and then vendor address manager. Okay, is it saving? Look, the validations are also applied. Okay, so when I press here 0 and when I press save, look, the data is added successfully and the opening balance is 0. That means the account is opened with the 0 for this shop. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, now when you click here, look, the data is also loading here. Now what else you can do? You can edit the data also. You can edit the data and later on you can update the opening balance. Okay, so it's up to you whether you are going to enable the updation of the opening balance or not, because it's the matter of money. So no, there is a secure thing, or a secure person or an authorized person can deal this window so that he or she cannot change the opening balance. Okay, so it's the security part that you can apply. So for that purpose, let us create the update. So I have the update shop procedure, but I don't have the update ledger procedure. So let me do that. So guys, look, I have opened a procedure that is for insert. So I am copying this procedure and I am creating a new query here, and what I am going to do, I am going to create an update procedure. So create procedure, and you can write here update vendor ledger, and you can change everything, and you can omit this updation part. You can omit this updation part for security purposes. Okay, and if you wish to make it inside the software, you can put it, no problem. So it's your choice. So let me write the update part. Update vendor ledger set VL underscore shop ID is equals to @ shop ID, VL underscore date is equals to @ date, and then VL underscore description is equals to @ description. Description should not be updated because, but let me write here for future purpose. So @ description, and then VL underscore debit is equals to @ debit, and VL underscore credit is equals to @ credit, and then balance equals to VL underscore balance is equals to balance, and then what else remaining? All things are now added, where VL underscore ID is equals to @ vendor ledger ID. So right here ID, and now pass ID as a parameter at this point. ID and if you notice here vendor ledger, and if you see the ID here, that is big integer, so you have to mention here is big integer. Now it's fine. Remove this comma, and that's my update vendor ledger. So executed. Commands completed successfully. Let us come inside and stop the software, and you have to go at the update code, so all the things are same. Okay, and one thing that you have to add here is the ID that you can receive from the grid click. So click here and go to the events and double click on your cell click, and look, you are getting every IDs, but where is the ID of the vendor ledger? Let me show you. Do I have the column? I don't have the ID of that particular thing, of that particular vendor ledger. So what I have to do, I have to create another column, get shop details. So get shops, modify. Here at this point you have to add another column that is at the beginning, and its name should be vl.id as vlid. Okay, so this is the primary key of the vendor ledger table, and based on this primary key I will delete the record or update the record, sorry. Yes, okay, so get shops, and that's my ID, and then execute it. Commands completed successfully, and here at this point you have to add a column vl id gv, and here you can write vl id, and it should not be visible, it is read only, and click add, and then OK, and then OK. So vl id is at the back, and now what you can do, you can create an integer 64 variable and vl id. Okay, so what you can write here, copy this and paste it, and write here vl id and give here vl id gv. Simple. Okay, so here the mapping is done, and one more place there where you can map this thing here at this point. So the first column was this, copy and paste, and you can write here vl id gv. Simple. Okay, so you have mapped here also, and now what you can do, you can use this vl id here in the update part. So copy this, and after all this, paste it here at which place, that's the update shop, and when the update shop is done, you have to make mention here, that's the hash table, and that's the thing, that's my shop ID where the shop details will be updated, and then after that you are going to execute the procedure at this point. So the ID is there, all things are now going to update, and here you can write vl id. Simple. Vendor ledger ID, and then this code should be called. Copy this and paste it at this point, and instead of this insert, you will select the update vendor ledger procedure and paste it here, and the ht2 is the procedure. Alright, so now it's done all. Okay, so let us see and check whether the record is updating or not, and what is the changes in the debit and credit calculation. So 1 2 3 4 5, and then shops, and then view, you have the records. Okay, so let me change this record from 1000 and edit, so I have to make it 2000. Okay, save this, and look, updated successfully, and the opening balance is updated to 2000. Okay, so all things are remaining the same, and when you change here, edit, and if you write here minus 750 rupees and then click save, so the data is updated. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so based on that vl id, the vendor ledger table primary key, based on that I am updating the records, though that is not displaying here. So this same code I have to perform here in the customers window also. So that part is with respect to the owner. The shop, it belongs to the owner, the vendor. Okay, so whatever will the accounts or the ledger of the shop will be, it belongs to the owner. And now customer, the relationship of the customer and the shop is there. One shop can have many customers, and I have already created the tables in the previous lecture. So let's do the work on this window also. The same task that we have done inside the shops window will be applied here also. Okay, so let's do that. Alright guys, one more thing that I must do here is the delete operation. So let me go at the back and the delete button. I have already copied and pasted the code that I have used in the previous lectures also. So here I have to pass the shop ID, and here I have to pass the delete shop stored procedure. So my delete shop stored procedure is this one. Okay, so copy it and you have to paste it here. Okay, and then the data will be displayed. So let's start and have a look what's the result of this. So login and then 1 2 3 4 5 and then press enter and then shops and then click view, and you have to delete. So let us delete this. Are you sure you want to delete? XYZ shop deleted successfully, and now look. Okay, so you have deleted the shop. Let us go to the database and check whether the ledger is deleted or not. Okay, so let's go to the database, come inside the ledger part. So where is the ledger? Yes, here is the ledger. Edit. So look, you don't have the record for the ABC shop. There are only 2 records. I hope it is clear to everyone. So when you delete the shop, its ledger will be deleted. You can use the security purposes for this also. You can avoid deletion of the shop when it has the ledger in it. Okay, so you can use the no action method in the relationship. Now let's do the next part. Come inside the software and go to your customers window. So that's my customers window, and here I have already applied the validations. All the things are now set, and the methods of the save, delete and view are already there. If no, they are not there, we have to do this. So come here and go to the sample2 and copy this save, delete and view and search button, and then come inside the customers and paste it here below. Okay, and then specify the override keyword here in this document. So I have changed the virtual with the override so that my functions will be overridden. And now at save, I'm picking up the same things from the shops window. Let me close this vendor and go to the shops and come here on the save button. If I zoom out it, so that's my save button. Okay, so I'm copying this all save button at this point till this. So all the code of the save button I have copied, and I'm going to paste here at this point. Let me zoom in and paste it here. Alright, so now resolve the references. So press Ctrl dot so that you can resolve the references using CMS, and hash table for using collections, system.collections, and then you have crude, so using crude. Okay, so all the things you have to pass it here. Now the next thing that you have to do, let me zoom out it a little bit. What things I have to pass here, let me show you. The first thing is the insert customer. So modify. These are the things that I have to pass. So copy this stored procedure name first, come here inside the customers window and right here instead of insert shop, insert customer, first thing. Now the first parameter is name. The name is there. There is no this one, no this one, and no this. And now the phone. So the phone is here, and then the next is shop ID. Copy it, and then here you write the shop ID, and then you can use the email, and here is my email. And now respectively give the names here. So that's my name text. Okay, so let me check the control names. What is this? That's my customer text, and that's my shop drop down, and that's my email, and that's my phone, and that's my open text. So it is customer text dot text, and then the phone number is phone text dot text, and then the shop ID. So shop drop down, because the customer belongs to which shop, dot selected value dot to string, and because that's the shop ID, so you have to make it convert dot to integer 32, and then round brackets, and then this one. Okay, so the ID of the shop will be picked up from the backend, and then the email. So the email is email text dot text, Okay, the validations are applied already, and then the parameters are now passed. Insert customer is written, and now what you have to do, you have to fetch the last customer ID. Okay, alright, so that's my last get shop ID. So I am copying this and I will pick up the same but the customer ID. Okay, so create procedure st underscore get last customer ID. Okay, and select top one from customers C, where C dot ID, and then order by C dot ID descending. Okay, so the last customer that is added, its ID will be picked up automatically. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so execute it. Commands completed successfully. Copy this name and simple paste it here. So what will happen? The customer ID will be picked up and it should store inside the customer ID variable. So integer, let me check the customer ID procedure, the data type of the customer. So that's my customers columns, and the customer's ID is an integer. Okay, customer ID is an integer. So let us come and create here customer ID, and now you write here customer ID, and then get last customer ID will be picked up. That's my global function from the CRUD class, the module that we have added. And now the shop ID, for shop I have convert dot to integer 32, and you can select the shop drop down dot selected value dot to string. Okay, and then the description, that is the opening balance, and the rest of the things remains the same, and this is also remains the same. Okay, if the amount is greater than this, then do this. That means the debit is there, the credit is 0, and then the balance formula is this: balance plus debit minus credit, and then the opening if the amount is less than 0, then the debit is 0 and the credit is that and the balance is that. Same is the code, and I have used the ABS function. ABS removes the negative sign from the amount. Okay, and then it will store inside the float variable. Now what will happen, the date, and then you have to change the method here, that is insert customer ledger. So let us go to the procedures and select this procedure and copy this one. So verify the stored procedures, please, the parameters. Here you have to pass this. The first thing that you have to pass is the customer ID. So the last customer ID will be picked up and it will be changed with this. Copy and paste. So customer ID, then description, then debit, credit, balance, and then date. So all things are remains the same. The one difference is this. So always verify, insert customer, then last ID of that customer, and then you have created another hash table, and then all the parameters, and then date, and then you have insert customer ledger. All things are now set, and you have to write here customer text added successfully, and load shop. Let us go to the load shop. So where is my load shop? Here is my load shop. So copy it and come here and paste it at the top. Instead of load shop, you will write here load customers, and you have to copy and paste the grid from the shops window. So mistakenly I have clicked twice. Now copy and paste it here. Now let us go and select the get customers ledger. Get customers. Do we have get customers? Yes, we have get customers. And here look, the joins, you have to specify the join also like in vendors table we have done. Inner join customer ledger CL on customer dot C dot on C dot ID is equals to CL dot customer ID. Okay, and what you can ask here, CL dot opening balance. So that's my balance as balance, and what you can ask here at the beginning, that is the CL dot CLID, so that I can use it for updation. CLID, just like vendor ID, vendor ledger ID, and then balance is there, the CLID is there, and one thing that you have to add is the where clause, because later on we will update this table, okay, the ledger table. So there are many balances, so which balance you wanted to pick up at the start. So I have to write here the where clause, and you have to specify CL dot description is equals to opening balance. Okay, so only those records that have written opening balance will be picked up. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, only those records will be picked up. So get customers, commands completed successfully. Now that's fine. Now we have to add columns in a particular manner. So come here and edit the columns. Opening balance is there, you don't need manager, you don't need vendor, you don't need manager ID, you don't need vendor ID, you don't need branch because that's the customer. You don't need shop. Yes, you need shop because shop is there, shop ID is there, and this is not the vendor ledger ID, it should be customer ledger ID GV. Okay, customer ledger ID GV, and you can write here CLID and it is hidden. Now it's fine. So customer ledger ID, shop ID and shop, customer ledger ID, and then customer ID. So let me write here cust ID GV and cust ID. It should not be visible, it is read only add. And then what do you need to do? Customer email phone. So customer GV, customer visible, email GV, email visible, and phone. So phone GV, and you can write here phone and then add and then close. Now arrange the columns respectively. In the code you have the CLID first, so CLID is there, then you have the customer ID, so the customer ID is there, then arrange it, and then you have the customer, so you have the customer also. After this customer, then email, then phone, email, and then phone, and then you have shop ID, shop and balance, shop ID, shop and balance. Okay, so all things are now respectively arranged in a sequential order from which the data is appearing. Now click OK and save. Now what you can do, you can come inside and write here CLID GV, then the next thing is ID GV, that is customer ID, so cust ID GV, then the next thing is customer email phone, so customer what's the name, cust GV, yes, no, that is the, what's the column name, I have mistakenly done something wrong, I think. So the customer GV name is, okay, the spelling mistake, I haven't specified the S, now it's fine. So customer GV, then you have email phone and shop ID, so email, then phone, then shop ID GV, and then shop and balance, so shop GV and then balance, so open GV. Okay, all things are now set, and then you can specify the procedure here, that is this one, get customer, copy it and then paste it here, simple. And then so after doing all this stuff, let's go and resolve the errors now. Instead of load shop, you have to write load customers, copy, and you have to call it everywhere where this is load shop, and at view button you have to write load customers. Okay, all things are now set. Now remove the errors. This is my insert, add at insert, I have done all the things, I have passed all the parameters, insert customer ledger, all things are now set. Now let's go to the update. So what you can do, copy this code that is inside the edit 0, copy it and paste it here, okay, at this part, paste. So what will happen now, all the above code and the below code are same. In fact, you have to just add the ID of the update procedure. So update customer, do we have update customer? Yes, we have the update customer, and here you can see the ID I have to pass. Okay, so come here and copy it and paste it, only pass the ID, and from where you can get the ID? You can get the ID from grid click, so customer ID. Okay, and then instead of insert customer, what you can write here? Update customer, copy it and paste it, and then you don't need the customer ID, the last customer ID at this point, because you are in update mode. So what you, from where you can get the customer ID for that purpose? Okay, one more thing I have to see here is, what is this? The customer ID and the customer ID I have given here, the shop ID. What's the problem? What is this? Let us first do the updation code and then we'll see this problem. Okay, close this properties window. We are in the update mode, all the things are there, the update will done, and then you have created the hash table, and for updating the customer ledger we have to go and copy this code and come here, paste it, create procedure st underscore update customer ledger, same like the vendor one, and then you can write here @ID as update customer ledger, set cl underscore customer ID is equals to @cust ID. Okay, one thing that I have big integer, that is big integer. Okay, so and comma here also, so you are going to update the ledger, so that is big integer. Now customer ID, then cl underscore description, that is @this, then cl underscore debit is equals to @debit, and then cl underscore credit is equals to @credit, and then cl underscore balance is equals to @balance, and then cl underscore date is equals to @date. Okay, so all the columns are now there, where cl underscore ID is equals to @ID. Okay, and now execute it. So copy this code and paste it here at this point. Update customer ledger, and for the IDs that you have to pass here inside the updation, that is, the first one is the customer ID, then description, and at this point the customer ID should be picked up because you are in updation mode, so customer ID. Okay, whatever the customer ID will be, it will be passed here, and then the opening balance, description, then debit credit balance, all things are same, and the date, and then the update, and here you can change the message updated successfully. All things are now fine. Okay, and update customer is there, so you have to check it again and again for quality assurance. Okay, and now all things are now set. One more thing that I must check here is this. Look, you are inserting the customer. Okay, so why are you passing the shop? That's my mistake. So remove this code and write here customer ID. So after inserting the customer ID will be picked up and it will be passed for the new parameter. Okay, as a new parameter for the next table insertion. So I hope it is clear to everyone. That was the mistake that I have done. Now everything is set. Okay, let us check and verify. First of all, let us copy and paste the delete one, so, and the grid click also. So copy the grid click from the shops customer window, go to the events, cell click and paste it here, and here you need to add the customer ID first, and you can pick up the customer ID from customer ID GV. Okay, save, and then you need the CLID. So I do not have the CLID, so integer 64 CLID, and you can write here CLID and you can convert it to integer 64, and you can now take it as CLID GV so that the ledger ID will be picked up, and then you remove this, and then that's my customer text. So right here customer text dot text and change the column name customer GV, and then right here email text and dot text, and right here email GV and close it and dot toString, and then you have the phone text dot text, and then that's my phone, and then sorry, phone GV should be there, so phone GV and close it and then dot toString, and then you have to pass after phone and email the opening balance. So the open text is there and open GV is also there, so all things are now I have passed. That's it. And now let's copy the delete code. Where is the delete? Here's the delete code. Copy this one and come here at delete at this point. Okay, are you sure you want to delete? So I want to delete the customer ID, so I have to pick up the customer ID, and now instead of this I have to select the delete customers. So do we have the delete customers? Yes, I have the delete customer procedure. In the previous lectures we have created this, so copy it and paste it. Okay, so delete customer, and right here customer text dot text deleted successfully, and right here load customers. So that's the all effort that we have done. One thing I have still missing, that is the transaction that I have to apply, but first we'll check, then we'll see later how can we do further better code. So that's my delete. And one more thing that I must check here is the updation code. When you are updating, so are you passing the procedure for updating this one? No, you are not passing the procedure for updating the customer ledger. Let me show you. That's my customer ledger update procedure. Okay, here you have customer ID, verify. Here you have customer ID, then you have description, then you have debit credit balance, then you have date, and then you have ID, then you have date, and look, you have missed the ID, so you have to pass the ID also. So copy here and paste it, and you have to pass the ID. So ID, and how can you pass the ID? That I have picked up inside the CLID. Where is that CLID? When you click the grid, the CLID will be picked up. I hope it is clear to everyone. So when you update, the ID will be passed. And also check at this point. At which point? No, at insert, you don't need to have the ID. That's it. So now let us check, is it working or not? Login, shops, add, customers, save. Validations are perfectly working. Click add customer name, let's say Naeem, and the shop. Okay, I have to load the shops also. Okay, so for that purpose let us first go on the customers load, double click here and simple come here, main class, crude. I have already created the method load list, a global dynamic method. See the previous lectures for this. Load list, and what do you need? Get shops. So get shops is the procedure here. Okay, but look, the shops with the opening balance are only coming, but you know when you add a shop, its opening balance is there already. I hope it is clear to everyone. So you can use this procedure, get shops. So copy it and paste it here, and now what it is asking, the combo box. So shop drop down, and then what it is asking you, the value member. So the ID of the shop is this. Okay, so copy it and paste it here, and the display member should be the name of the shop, that will be this. Copy it and paste it, and then semicolon, save it. And then one more thing that you have to do is, because you have make the selected index change, so shop drop down dot back color is equals to color dot white. Okay, because that is a data bound control, so by default the validation is applied when the selected index change will occur. So Ali 1 2 3 4 5, and then click OK, and then customers. Look, add, you have the shops. Fine. So now let me add the customer, let's say Jawad, and the shop name is, let's say, ABC Garment. This customer belongs to this. The email of the customer is, let's say, jawad@abc.com, and then phone number is any, and the opening balance, let's say Jawad has to pay 5,000. Okay, the opening balance. Okay, so save. Look, the customer is added, it is displayed properly, everything is now perfectly coming. And when you click here, okay, this is not coming, shop drop down. Okay, so let me go and do that, because I haven't run the code for this. So shop drop down dot selected value is equals to raw dot cells of shop id gv. Based on the id, the shop will be picked up dot value. Simple. That's it. Now let us run this. Login, and then shops, and then view. Okay, customers, view. One customer is there and the shop is now coming. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now let us change it, edit. The shop was not this, it was this. Save it, update it successfully. So now it is DEF Garments. Okay, and let us change the balance from this to this. Save. It is saved. I hope it is clear to everyone. And now let us delete this. Sorry, delete. Are you sure? Yes, Jawad deleted successfully. Okay, so that's all. We have successfully created the complete base of our bill management system. Now we can add any number of shops, any number of owners. The owners contains shops and the shop contains customers. That's the flow that I have created throughout this whole software. And now the next part of this software will be the bills, the actual processing. What amount I'm selling, or I'm giving, or I'm purchasing, how much amount I have, somebody wants to pay me and I wants to give him or her. So these all are the things that we'll cover in this bill window. And we'll also create the windows for returning amount and the reports on which you can see which customer has what outstanding bill on him. Okay, so that's all for today. Hope you have understood this, and if you do not understand anything, please do write me. Thank you so much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.